¿Qué pasa? What's up? Antonio Serrano here, and today I have a magical character video just for you. In this case, I am talking about a great comedian as it is Wally Boag. I love this guy, Wally Boag, and maybe you youngsters, people that are younger here, or even adults, grown-ups, may have no idea who Wally Boag is. I discovered this guy through the Muppet Show in YouTube before I even had Disney Plus, because I love watching Steve Martin's Muppet Show on YouTube. And then I discovered this guy, Wally Boag, and I felt in love. I fell in love with his balloon animals routine. It's great, all the puns, all the jokes, quite vintage, with the drum roll every time he has a joke. And then I discovered on YouTube his show. I'm not going to talk about the show because it's going to be named in one of the tips. And it is great seeing the live orchestra, all the jokes, all the gags, how well he has the routine polished. So without further ado, let's take a look at the tips that we can extract from this master as magicians. Let's start with the first one. Woohoo! Okay, the first tip is extremely simple, and it is basically take the wave. Take the wave, okay? Leave that things help you in a way. Some artists, they really have to struggle, right? Like you have to be working very hard, you must find some kind of contact, no one wants to book you, and other comedians, they have like a very clear path, like I am doing this and now I have this opportunity, I'm going to try this, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there, so it is great. And Wally Boag was a dancer. He was a dancer very young, like since he was like 9. Then when he was older, like 18, 19, he had his own dance academy, and then he had the possibility of working as a comedian in hotels, touring different hotels in the country. And he was like, okay, I'm going to be a comedian now. So he took the wave. He was a dancer, he was an expert in dancing matters, but when he had the opportunity of being a comedian, he was like, okay, and thank God that he did, because we would have lost a great comedian if he was like, no, I am a dancer, I don't want to. No, take the wave. If you have the opportunity, do it. I had the opportunity, like a couple of years ago, of being a stand-up comedian, right? A friend of mine that performs here in Cadiz a lot, he is a comedian, and he was like, Antonio, can you create like an hour of jokes, an hour of stand-up, and I can find some hotels, some bars and pubs and comedy clubs to book you? And I was like, no, I don't want to do that because I am a magician, okay? If I can do like a couple of tricks in between jokes, I would think about it. I would think about it. And he was like, no, Antonio, you can only do jokes, you can only do stand-up. And I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm sorry, no. And nowadays I am like, I was stupid. I should have said yes, like, okay, yes. And that knowledge that I would have extracted from performing in different places, far away from home, only doing comedy, was going to be gold for my magic career. And I said no, basically because I wanted to be a magician, only a magician, and that's quite sad, okay? So take the wave. Great lesson that we can learn from this guy, and that I should have applied in the past. Yeah, pretty sad. I was stupid, and a little bit of that still remains in me, I know. Okay, next tip, we all know about it, but I think that this guy deserves to have this badge on his jacket more than anyone else. He has like a very big Guinness World Record in his lapel, and it is basically do a lot of shows. This guy is in the World Guinness Records for being the show that has been performed more times in any theatrical condition or event. I don't know exactly the framing of it, but he's in the World Guinness of Records for being the show with more performances ever. We are not talking about theme parks, because this show was performed in Disneyland. I don't know if it is Disneyland, I don't know exactly the name, but it was in a Disney park, and it was the Golden Horseshoe Review. Let me take a look at it. Yeah, the Golden Horseshoe Review, and it is in the Guinness World Records. I think it was more than 10,000 performances. I don't know exactly the count of it, but an incredible amount of performances. So when you see the taping of the, I think that the taping was of the 10,000th performance, okay? They filmed and they showed on TV the 10,000 performance, and it is great. It is great. It is extremely polished. All of the songs, all of the beats, the timing, the drum rolls, and it is a live orchestra. So every time he tells a joke or something like that, there is a boom, 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 the horns, boom, and it is extremely well scripted. The timing is perfect. It's like to perfection. All of his routines are down to perfection. The balloon routine, all of the gags, the gun, when he starts firing the gun in the middle of the crowd, it's outstanding. It's simply outstanding. So if you haven't taken a look at those videos in YouTube or Disney Plus or anything like that, you have to do it right now. And you have to apply this tip to you. Do as much shows as you can, and you are going to be this good. There is no other way to look at it. I could be talking here for hours, but it's as simple as that. If you want to be as good as you can be, you simply have to be in front of the crowd as much as you can. That's it. This next tip is a tip that I use with other magical characters, but I think it's quite interesting with this one, and it is commit. You have to commit to your routines, and I think that Wally Boag commits at a very, very high level. He is quite a physical performer. We have to remember that he was a dancer, and he's doing on stage like backflips, like splits, jumping. It is incredible. It is outstanding how physical this guy is. It's simply outstanding. And one of the things when you have to go like, okay, this guy really commits, is that this guy was bold. Was completely bald, right, from a very young age, was completely bald. And he wore like a wig only on the top of his head, like a wig. And it was quite difficult to see that it was a wig. And at some point in the show, he would go like, oh my God, it's hot in here. And he would lift up the wig and go like, oh my God, so hot. And go like, what did you expect? Feathers? And he turned around the wig, and now he had like a different hair done. So it is, he had to commit. It's like your own life, you are bold, okay? And your life depends on this joke. And you can even tell that every time he does the joke, he takes off the wig or lifts it up a little bit, but he doesn't want people to see him bald for a very long period of time, because he really wants people to have that image inside of their mind, like he has hair. So every time he does that, it's funny again, right? If you get used to the image of seeing him without the wig, suddenly the illusion gets ruined, okay? So it is extremely, extremely funny how committed he is with all of his routines, from a physical standpoint and from a hair standpoint, yeah. Okay guys, and this is the last tip, and this is a tip that you heard about this when we talk about painters, right? Artists that paint, sculpt and things like that. We always talk about the first one. The first one who did some kind of painting that could be from this style, from this era, the creator of surrealism, of abstraction and things like that, right? And this guy was the first guy, Wally Boag, that did a balloon figure on television. How much powerful you can get like this. Like every time that someone saw a guy doing a balloon figure on television or live on the street, they were like, oh my God, like Wally Boag. Because he was the first guy that did something like this on television. So right now, every time that someone sees a balloon figure, they are going to be talking about you. It's as simple as that. You have to be the first one. In future magical characters, I am going to talk about how you can be also memorable without being the first one that does something, right? Which would be called like the Picasso rule in performance and in art in general. But in this case, he was the first, so you don't have to be extremely good, which he is, to be memorable, because you simply were the first. If another person comes after you doing balloon figures and it's very funny, it's very talented, that's okay, and he's going to be remembered, but you are still the first one. Everyone is going to be like, oh, he's doing something similar to Wally Boag, because you was the first to do something like that. great lesson that we can extract from this guy. So that's everything for today's video. I hope that you found this information useful. Please comment below any thoughts that you think that I forgot, subscribe, and as always, I would see you in a near future. Bye there!